Honorable Shri Pradeep Kumar Ahmad, Honorable Minister Health and Finance, Government of Odisha, Honorable Shri Ajay Chandrakar, Honorable Minister of Health, Chhattisgarh, Professor Isaac Odem, Director, Sickle Global Network, Canada, Dr. Pramod Meherda, Commissioner cum Secretary, Health and Family Welfare Department, Government of Odisha, Professor Siddharth Das, Dean and Principal, SV Medical College, Professor Sat Tripathi, President, Odisha Hematology, Professor Ravindra Kumar Jaina, Professor and Head, Hematology Department, SV Medical College and Organizing Secretary, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, experts and friends. It's truly a privilege for me to come and be able to not just speak here, but also would like to really hear from you. Because here is a congregation and a confluence of experts from all over the world, from all over the country, and a different spectrum, on a complete spectrum. Experts, caregivers, doctors, and some non-experts like me, who are also here. I mean, I need not really talk about, how serious this particular disease is and how challenging this particular effort of ours is. I mean, we all know that there have been a very large number of an amount of global efforts from various. I can see a lot of our friends from different countries and all that. I was just speaking to Professor Isaac also about this. How difficult is this in some parts of the world, especially in Africa, where I was told every one baby out of 50 babies born in Africa, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, is born with sickle cell disease or thalassemia or hemoglobinopathies. I mean, that's such a big problem. But unfortunately, many of these babies really don't live and don't have their 5th birthday, and then they die due to various other reasons. So now the challenge before us to a galaxy of stars, if you will, like this, to kind of come up with something which is not in itself very good, very attractive, but should be also implementable right in the field. But sometimes we come up with something, we come up with a drug which is very good, very effective, but very expensive. I remember in Government of India the other day, I mean, it was around a couple of years back, when there was this particular drug which came for hepatitis C. And I was told that this drug is like a silver bullet. It actually is so effective that, you take treatment and you get cured by this drug. But lo and behold, the drug is so very expensive. We had a discussion with the company. You all know which company was this. And then we came to know that this is an absolute necessity for our people in the public health program. At least this drug should be available so that people can access this facility and this drug. And then I was very happy to know that just a year back or so, our own manufacturers of this country, they came up with this, and then they got approval from the Drug Control General of India, and now 2 companies are making that drug, generic version of, and in fact it's not a generic version. That company, the innovator company, is working with the local companies to actually manufacture these drugs. I mean, these are some of the innovations which are, about the HIV drugs. When it came, how expensive was this? I want to share something with you. We had a conference on AIDS, HIV AIDS, and the executive director, Mr. Michel Sidby, who had come, in fact, in one of those meetings in Vigyan Bhavan, he said in front of everybody that, when I came to this country, a lot of my countrymen told me that please go and congratulate and convey our best wishes and thanks to gratitude to people of India, because the Indian manufacturers actually came up with the antiretroviral therapy, which becomes so affordable that now it has become a part of the universal, our public health program. It's being given free of cost to everyone. Now here the challenge in sickle cell, as as you all know, that what can possibly be done? I mean, what do we expect of a conference, of a confluence of stars? What we expect? I mean, people like me, people like Mr. Sahu, people like Dr. Meherda, who are basically we are managers. I mean, we are not doctors. We want inputs from all of you, and then how do we do that actually in the field? I handle the National Health Mission, which I was telling Professor Ajak, which is the largest public health program in the whole world. We spend around 4 to 5 billion US dollars from Government of India. Apart from that, the state governments also put in a lot of money in the public health program. What should we do so that at least, these innovations, these best practices just don't remain in the shelves? They actually are translated into the field, and people and common man and the tribal population and the people who actually live in those difficult areas, they are able to take benefit of this. That's the big challenge for people like us, for managers like us. In the National Health Mission, I must tell you that we have started this, and 11 states out of our 36 states and union territories have already started taking benefit from the National Health Mission, and they are actually trying to do the counseling, the screening, the testing, the iron chelation, all that stuff which is required. That's being done it has started in 11 states. I'm sure the other states, once they come to know that this is the problem, they would also start doing it. You all know perhaps that we have in India, we have an enormous diversity. If you look at the number of the biological diversity of Indian populations, somebody who is traveling to this country for the first time, I always, we discuss with them, they go around the country and they get amazed by the genetic diversity, by people who look so different in this country, and you will be amazed to know that the enormous biological diversity of the Indian population actually makes the whole thing very complex. There are nearly 5,000, I'm told, there are nearly 5,000 anthropologically well-defined endogamous caste and tribal populations in India. And they show striking diversity in terms of language, socio-cultural in diversity in appearance and genetic diversity. And that makes the whole thing so very complex. So if we can make something happen in this country and that becomes successful, I believe that will be successful for the whole world. We always say, if you talk about TB, you talk about malaria, you talk about HIV, you talk about many of these diseases, many of the maternal and child health issues and challenges. We always say, if India succeeds, the world succeeds. If India doesn't succeed, if India fails, then the world will never be able to be successful, will never be able to succeed. So with that, I would say that, research is excellent, that is required, but what is more required perhaps is, the after effect of the research, that the best products which come out of the research, of the labs, through clinical trials, they get really implemented in the field, and capacity building, and building the capacity of people, of the managers, of the healthcare service providers in the field, who can actually go and tell people what to do, what not to do. Basically counseling people. This is such an important thing. If you talk about any program, anything, counseling is such a big, huge thing. In Government of India, we decided, there's a little digression, but I just want to tell you, we have been seeing that the non-communicable diseases have been increasing by leaps and bounds. We have been, under the National Health Mission, we have been addressing the gaps of in the maternal and child health initially, and then of course communicable diseases. But non-communicable diseases always remained like, okay, we will go there only after we are able to deal with these problems. Now, Government of India has decided that, okay, the non-communicable diseases also need to be looked into very, very carefully, because that's the 60% of the morbidity and mortality are from non-communicable diseases. Now, when we talk about hemoglobinopathies, the other day I attended a meeting of the parents of children, thalassaemic children. If you really, I'm sure you must have attended many of those meetings. It was heartrending. It was heartrending to see parents with their children and the kind of problems. So what needs to be done? And there are some genetic diseases which requires huge amount of money for one child. What do we do? I mean, we are at a place, I mean, we are faced with a dilemma that whether you want to spend, say, $500,000 for like 5 children, or you want to really use that same money to do things, for example, to add a new vaccine into your public health program. I mean, what do we need to do? I mean, that's a challenge that we have. People like me face when we decide how to use this money which is there. So when it comes to sickle cell, I guess this Congress will definitely kind of give rise to very many solid, concrete, tangible suggestions, which can be actually implemented in the field. What can possibly be done? What is the new paradigm that we are looking at? So that is something that I will be looking forward to, from Government of India to this Congress. I will also look forward to, from you, so that you can actually share some of the best practices all over the world. Mr. Sahu just pointed out that in Chhattisgarh, they have started screening the school children. Under National Health Mission, we have a program, a specific program called, it is a school health program. I just don't want to talk about that much, but the school children are screened for 30 different disease conditions. So these 30 conditions, there are very many conditions there. Now, whether we should actually also include sickle cell testing or so. I mean, and I know some of these testing are very expensive. Should we do that, or should we do it? We can use that money better for better counseling so that the parents can be told. And interestingly, and it's a challenge that we have seen many of these diseases are actually most accentuated in the most difficult areas. That is the biggest problem that we also face, that you most inaccessible pockets. Many of the tribal population, you see these diseases, these afflictions. I mean, what do we do there? Now, when we talk about how to deal with this disease, I think I would again say, at the cost of repetition, that it really requires partnerships among not just the health department, but many other departments, government departments, non-government organizations, community-based organizations, people who have been working in this field with that passion for such a long time, and then different health officials, international partners, and people's representatives. Many of the times we have seen the people's representatives just do not know what's happening. I mean, the other day I was just having a meeting here in Odisha and in many other parts of this country, and we thought we must involve the people's representatives right from the field. We call them as sarpanches, sometimes panchayat samiti members, zilla parishad members, honorable members of legislative assemblies, honorable members of parliament. We must tell them what is the problem, what should be done, because they meet with a lot of people every day in and day out. We don't meet with so many people in the field, they do. So we need to really tell them that when you go to the field, you must speak to people about this particular problem. What is to be done, what should not be done. So those are the things, perhaps, we need those kind of partnerships. Medical colleges. Now, Dr. Meherda talked about, what is being done in the medical colleges here in this state. Why can't we take up all the government medical colleges and private medical colleges in this country, which number around I think 450 or 460 or something. Why can't we really take up in all government medical colleges for treatment? And secondly, and the district hospitals, we have very large number of district hospitals, almost I think more than 700 district hospitals in this country. We are trying to strengthen them in various ways. The different governments, the state governments should also look at this. What is it that needs to be done in the district hospitals so that the great recommendations that people, experts like you all come up with can be actually implemented at least at the district level, if not sub-district level. What can possibly be done there? I'm very happy that you all have come, and we are going to really get really immense kind of ideas and best practices from all of you. I'm sure about it. And I would suggest the organizing secretary that after this congregation, you come up with recommendations. You please share that also with us, and also with the other development partners, the other state governments, the government of India, the state governments, so that at least we will try what best can possibly be done. I'm reminded of something I was told. The great mountaineer Edmund Hillary, I was told, I don't know whether it's a fact or not, but I was told that Edmund Hillary, he wanted to conquer Mount Everest. As we all know, he finally did. But I believe he didn't do it. He couldn't do it in the first attempt. So after failing once, I believe once or twice, or I don't know how many times, I believe he looked at Mount Everest and said that you can't change, but I shall, and I will change, and I'll come and conquer you. Thank you very, very much for your patience. Thank you.